Hello, everyone. We're going to get started. My name is Rob Wade, and I'm the Digital Enablement Lead for the Enogen team. I want to thank you for attending today's training webinar. So today we're going to learn what it takes to contract for Enogen and see some of the improvements that we've made over the last year. So Trent Murdoch is our training lead with the Syngenta Digital team. He's going to provide us with training on CropWise contracting, as well as completing your stewardship forms inside of Growmore 360. We want you to please hold all questions until the end of the training session or post them in the chat provided at the bottom of your screen. We're going to answer those questions at the end, and we'll demo or re-demo anything that's needed at the end of Trent's presentation. So with that, Trent, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Rob. And like Rob said, I'm Trent Murdoch, and I'm one of the training leads specifically related to seed tools here at Syngenta Digital. So if you do have any question, please let us know. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll go ahead and get started with our CropWise platform here. We're going to go ahead and jump into Field Manager. We're going to go ahead and choose that Open App right here on the screen. From there, if this is a brand new grower, you're going to come over here and we are going to choose this import option, and you'll simply type in the grower that you want to import. So if I want to type in, say, let's do Bruce Heatland here. So there's Bruce. I can pick him. It will pull in his SAP, and then I can go ahead and choose Add Grower there. That is the way that you need to add your growers. So make sure they're in Crop Edge and you have those added so that they will show up here. I've already got Bruce uploaded into my field list. So I'm just going to go over here to my growers list and choose on his name and go ahead and launch this. As you can see, I already have fields mapped for Bruce. So I'm a little bit ahead of the game here. Let's walk through and talk about how to map fields within CropWise. So you're just going to simply navigate into the part of the country where you wish to map fields. Once you zoom in far enough, you're going to start seeing some boundaries here. So I've actually got my tool selected here. So I can see these boundaries, and those are your CLU boundaries. So your common land unit boundaries. To add a field in here, it's very easy. We're just going to go ahead and click on that field, and we're going to go ahead and choose the add option. That is all there is to it, guys. It's very, very simple, very easy to do. Now, if you do have a field that requires multiple polygons, we're going to come over here to the right-hand side of the screen. We're going to choose on this select multiple, and we're going to go ahead and choose all of those polygons that we wish to have for this particular field. So we can add as many of them as we want. Once we're done, we're going to go ahead and select on add fields, and it's going to add it to our field list there. Moving on. Now, what if you do not have CLU boundaries? There's a couple places in the country where we do not have access to good CLU boundaries, and you may need to draw them, or maybe the CLU boundaries that you have are just not all that good. So in order to take care of those, we're going to navigate over to the pencil icon on the right-hand side of the screen. We're going to go ahead and open that up, and we've got a couple different options as to how to draw these. If it is a nice rectangular field, you can just choose that first one, drop a point, and go ahead and drop another point and add that field. If you are in a place like Western Kentucky where we do not have anything close to a straight field, you're going to go ahead and choose this polygon tool, and that will allow you to drop points around it with left clicks. So if you've ever mapped anything in any other mapping software, this should look really familiar. To finish, we can just come up to the top point here and select upon that. That will snap that boundary close. So very, very simple, very fast to add fields. So in just a matter of a few minutes, even with explaining it, I was able to draw those 4 fields and get those imported. Now, one thing that is important with Enogen is getting your acres right. So once you have the fields mapped, if they are not exactly right as far as your acres, you can simply just come over here, click on the acres in your My Fields list, and we can go ahead and say, well, this field's actually 300 acres there. So we can go ahead and put that in there and say this one's 150, and we can get those acres exactly spot on. One of the new updates that we've done within CropWise Seed Selector is to come in and allow you to bulk edit fields. So in the past, you used to come over here, open up a field, hit the icon, and come in here and set this to an Enogen field, and that's how you mapped it. You no longer have to do that. You can simply come up here to this bulk edit fields option in the top center of the screen. We can open that up. And now if we just want to say, you know, these fields are all Enogen, we can go down through here, click on these, select them, and, you know, pick all of our fields that are Enogen. We're going to simply drop down, select our action. We're going to go ahead and choose change crop, and we're going to go ahead and choose Enogen corn. And then we're going to go ahead and hit OK down here. It's going to ask you if you're sure that you're wanting to do this, and we're going to go ahead and say yes there. So now it's changed those all to Enogen. Very, very simple, very straightforward, and very fast to do. Now, once you have fields set to Enogen, we can go ahead and come up here and contract. So one thing that you can do if you are a seed advisor and you want to permanently set your reseller account, you can come over here to your settings icon, choose settings, and we can come in here and put in that company there. So we'll go ahead and do James. Let's see, James. There's James right there. We'll go ahead and select it and pull in his SAP, and we'll go ahead and choose apply there. From there, that Enogen contract button is available, and we can go ahead and open up the Enogen contract. Now, if you are a account lead or something like that, that doesn't really need to stay on a permanent one, say you're helping somebody out, just come in here and you can enter that in on the contract right here, and it will select it there. So within our contract, we do have our contracting year up here at the top. So you can select that as well as what kind of contract it is. So is it fed on farm, commercial feed, or fuel? You can select them all down here at the bottom. From there, we're going to go ahead and choose next at the bottom left of the screen. And that's going to bring us into our contract. So this is going to be a fed on farm contract. From here, we're just going to go ahead and select our fields that are Enogen. So we'll just pretend like these are the fields that we want for this particular Enogen contract. Up here at the top, we can put in our seeding rate. So we can deselect this if it is not exactly, if it's not exactly the same for all the fields, we can deselect this and edit those independently down here. So I'll show that now. So I can deselect that, and I can come in here and say, okay, this one's at 35,000 seeds per acre. You can do the same thing with yield, or you can leave it the same. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 190 bushel yield on this particular group of fields. And then we're going to come over here and we can toggle on border rows if we want to. So we can just simply say whether or not the field has border rows. And we're going to come down. We can see how many estimated units of Enogen that we have. And we're going to go ahead and choose next. From there, it's going to bring us into our storage locations. So you can see all of the different storage locations I've used in the past, and that should populate. If you do need to create a new storage location, we're going to navigate over to the green new storage location button on this side. We're going to go ahead and I'm just going to call this test. We're going to select our crop. So whether it's grain in it or silage, earlage, high moisture corn, and then we're going to go ahead and put the capacity in there. And I'm going to say this is an 80,000 ton storage capacity here. We're going to go ahead and confirm that the grower has enough available storage if it does go to grain. And then from there, we can see our fields on the map. So we're just going to zoom in, find our storage location. We'll pretend like this is a silage pit right here. We can drop that point. Now, if you do make a mistake and place that in the wrong spot, you can simply just move the map and say, oh, I was actually supposed to be on this side of the road. Drop that point, and it's going to show up right there. So you don't have to back out of this. You can just click again and move that point. Once you have all of this information saved or all of this information entered in, we're going to navigate down and choose the save location button in the bottom right-hand corner of that screen. It's going to pop up over here in your list to the left-hand side. We're simply going to put a check mark in it, and it's going to show up right there. Now, if you do have multiple ones, you can go through and check mark those as well. So you can put multiple storage locations on one contract. Moving forward, we're going to choose next at the bottom right of the screen. It's going to bring us into our cattle type if we are doing a fed on farm contract. If this was a fuel contract or commercial feed, you would see those delivery windows there. So we're going to go ahead and choose our cattle type. So either beef or dairy. And then let's go ahead and say we've got 500 head for this particular grower. We're going to go ahead and choose next down here in the bottom right-hand corner. That's going to bring us across. We're going to see all of the contract details. Now, I stress this every time. Make sure you just go through and review this contract. Just take an extra second here to walk through, make sure all of your numbers are correct, everything looks right before you come down to the bottom and hit this create contract. It just saves you a step. So if you did happen to make a mistake as you're going through it, gives you another chance to catch it before we move on. So we're going to go ahead and choose create contract. That's going to pop up. And you're going to see the contract over here. This is a demo. You would actually see the actual contract here. This is just a demo PDF that's uploaded for testing purposes. So, and then you're going to see the contact information over here on the right-hand side. We're going to go ahead and choose edit on this. And we're going to go ahead and put in a working smartphone number that we can send this contract to. So I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Once I've got that in there, that's actually the wrong number. So let's not send that to somebody else. So 227. And then we're going to hit send right here. That's going to go ahead and send this contract out to the grower. Now, I'm going to walk us through the contract signing. We're going to get this prompt, and I'm going to walk us through that contract signing process now. Okay, now that I've got this screen pulled up, this is exactly what the grower is going to see on their side. So all they're going to do is come in here. Once they get the text message, they're going to tap on it. It's going to open them up into their text messages, and then they're going to come and select on this blue hyperlink at the bottom of this tab. From there, it is going to take them into their stewardship page, and then all they're going to do is watch this video. They're going to navigate down and hit the continue button at the bottom center of the screen. That should navigate them into the DocuSign process. From there, if it is the first time that they've been in there, they'll have a little check mark here saying that they agree to sign the contract here. And we're going to go ahead and hit the continue button in the bottom right of the screen. You're going to see the contract, and all you've got to do is come up here and hit start. That's going to zoom you down to the bottom. You can review that contract if you want to up to the top there, but really you just need to come down here and sign this. Now, the first time that you come in here, it is going to ask you to put a signature in there. So it's going to pop up a screen. You're going to walk through that signature process, and it's going to go through there. But on this particular one, I just dropped that in there, and I'm going to navigate up here to finish at the top. And that is all a grower has to do. So you can see it's just a matter of seconds going through there, getting that set up. You're all set. You're good to go. And now we'll move into the record keeping and stewardship portion of Enogen contracting. So let me move over to that screen. So with that, we are going to go ahead and open up our Grow More 360 account, and you will be on the dashboard when you first log in. Now, most likely you're not going to have this many contracts to view. So you're probably going to be able to see it right there and hit view and go straight into it. However, if you do have a significant amount of contracts, we can go up here to the companies tab. Once you've clicked on your company's page, you can just simply come in here and search that. So we're going to go ahead and type in James's name. It's going to pop up his reseller, and then we'll click on his name here in blue. That will take you into his company where we can see that contract. So we're going to go ahead and move on down. We've got that contract for Bruce right here. We're going to go ahead and choose view. It's going to pull up. We can see all that information, and let's go ahead and record stewardship for Bruce. So we're going to come up here to the upper right-hand corner. We're going to go ahead and choose record, and that is going to bring us into our planting and stewardship details here. So we're going to go ahead and choose this edit option. We can come in here and put in the specific days. So if we want to come in here and say this was planted on April 28th. We can do that there. We can move down and change this independently for each one of these. So let's back up to April and say this was done on the 29th. Now, if they were all planted on the exact same day, there is a time saving feature down here in the bottom left of this box. You can hit that and it will key off that first date and it will plant them all on the same date. So you don't have to go through that. Now your acres, if you didn't plant the total amount of acres, you can adjust that, as well as you can change your seeding rate and your average yield based on what come from the contract. Once you have that entered in, we're going to go ahead and choose save. We're going to say that we cleaned out our equipment and we returned any seed that we did not use. Once you have hit that save button, you'll get green check marks over here under planting, letting you know that you are complete and ready to go. Now, harvest stewardship and editing storage cleanout is exactly the same as planting. So once we get to that point, you can go through and complete those tasks there. With that, we're going to go ahead and let's talk about replant. So getting here is the same. You can go through companies, search for it the way I did. But once you get to the contract, you're just going to go into that record stewardship and we're going to hit replant. Now this is done field by field. So we're simply going to navigate in, select the field that we want, hit the next details, put in how many acres we replanted. So if we didn't replant the entire field, we can adjust that here. We can enter in any notes that we wish to put in right here, and we can go ahead and hit save there. Once you have replanted this, it will pop up and give you a replant option right here, or showing you that it's been replanted, and you're good to go there. Now with field lost, we're going to come up here to this corner and we're going to do the same thing. Again, it is exactly the same as replant. You're going to go ahead and select that. Now this does change. You can't only do a portion of the field. You have to lose the whole field. And once you do this, this will no longer be editable. So make sure you are choosing the correct field when you go through and do a field loss. So we can go ahead and put any notes in there. And once we hit save, that will gray out. And now this field is no longer editable on this particular contract. So that is how you walk through, create a contract within CropWise, and go ahead and get that signed using the new signing features within, and then how you record your stewardship as well as replant and field loss. With that, that's pretty much all we wanted to show you today, and we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions.